All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for the Economic Development Commission for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Hands over hearts. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, item 3, roll call, Ms. Miranda.
Good evening, Honorable Chair. I will proceed with taking the roll call. Prior to doing so, if it is at the pleasure of the Commission, we can excuse Commissioner Hughes, who is not present today. To do so would take a majority consensus of the Economic Development Commission. Do I have a majority consensus to excuse Commissioner Hughes?
Yes, we
Yes.
do. 4-0, yes, we do.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'll proceed with roll call this evening. Commissioner Chang? Commissioner Hughes noted absent and excused for the record. Commissioner Tagle?
Present.
Vice Chair Hu? Chair Reyes?
Present.
All commissioners noted present with the exception of Commissioner Hughes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Item 4, presentations. 4A, informational report providing a status update on water and sewer infrastructure, including an emergency repair of the C4 well and the purchase of imported water. Ms. Miranda.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members of the Economic Development Commission. The presentation for item 4A will be given by Director of Public Works / City Engineer, Mr. Alvin Papa, and Assistant Director of Public Works, Mr. Chris Kubert. At this time, I'll turn your attention to Mr. Papa. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Good evening, Commissioners of the Economic Development Commission. My name is Alvin Papa. I am the Director of Public Works. And with me today, I have Chris Kubert, Assistant Director of Public Works. Today, we will be presenting a brief, high-level update to the city's water and sewer infrastructure. And we'll also be discussing the status of the emergency repair at the C4 well, along with the associated the purchase of imported water. This is an item that we brought to an emergency meeting back in December with regards to an emergency repair at the C4 well. So if you look at the screen above, this map shows the city's water system. Much of the system was built in the 1970s and includes 4 groundwater wells that you can see shown by the stars on the map. There are 2 booster stations, 3 reservoirs, 1 import connection, and several emergency interconnections with neighboring cities. Under normal conditions, these local wells allow the city to meet all of our water demand by using lower cost groundwater that is pumped directly from underneath the city from the central groundwater basin. As this infrastructure, which is now more than 50 years old, continues to age, the risk of failure increases and the overall reliability of the water system declines. This map shows the city's sanitary sewer system. The system includes about 146 miles of sewer pipe, more than 3,100 manholes, and 6 pump stations. The City of Cerritos sewer system is a collection-only system. That means once the wastewater enters our system, it gets transported to the Los Angeles County sanitation districts, where the wastewater is funneled over to the Los Coyotes treatment plant for further treatment. Much of our sewer pipe in our system is vitrified clay pipe or steel, and most of it is more than 50 years old, which places it near the end of its service life. The table you see above highlights key water projects identified through recent evaluations by city staff. Critical water infrastructure needs totals about $23 million, or about $25.3 million when adjusted for inflation. These projects include well rehabilitation and treatment, and water replacement programs. These investments are needed to reduce the risk of failures, especially at our water wells, and to maintain safe and reliable water service for our community. This table summarizes our critical sewer infrastructure needs. The total needs are approximately $3.9 million, or about $4.3 million when adjusted for inflation. These projects include pump station rehabilitation, sewer main pipe replacement, and a citywide closed-circuit television inspection program. These efforts will help prevent a sewer system failure that can lead to sewer spills and costly unplanned emergency repairs. This slide shows a public information mailer that was sent to all Cerritos properties earlier this month. The goal was to give residents a clear, high-level overview of the city's water and sewer system, along with the investments needed. The mailer reflects the same information that is available on the city's website. And now with regards to a status update on the C4 well emergency repair. In October 2025, the C4 well was taken out of service due to staff finding out that there was sand and gravel entering the well, which risked further damage to the well and equipment. As a result, in December, the City Council approved an emergency repair totaling approximately $643,000 to address the issue. And while the well remains offline, the city must purchase imported water, which costs significantly more than our locally produced groundwater. To date, the city has purchased approximately 176 acre-feet of water, totaling an additional, and this is additional, $196,000 of additional water cost. Staff continues to actively coordinate with the contractor. We're working to schedule construction of the repair tentatively to start late January. In summary, much of the city's water and sewer infrastructure is aging and continues to require investment to remain reliable. The C4 well is an indication of risks and failures that can occur and the added costs that occur when aging infrastructure reaches the end of its useful service life. This item is information only and no action is requested tonight. That concludes my presentation, and Assistant Director Kubert and I are available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Papa. We'll start with questions from the commission if they have any. Commissioner Taglay.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Papa, for the update, and Mr. Kubert for being here. Obviously not great news. My question would be, I think you had indicated that the equipment that failed is near the end of its useful life, but as far as best practices, if the useful life is 50 years, given that these fractures and other breakdowns are already happening, just to be fully transparent, how long should this equipment be put into place, or is it practice to leave it in place through the end of the actual 50 years useful life? Because obviously these breakdowns are already happening. So should we be telling folks, well, we're going to be putting in new infrastructure, although the useful life is 50 years, we really should be thinking it's a year 30 or whatever it may be to make replacements?
Yes, thank you for the question, Commissioner. So with regards to wells generally, it's a 50-year service life. But within the well, there are different components. So you have the well casing itself, you have pumps, you have engines, and they all have different service lives. With regard to the most critical, component of the system, for the C4 well, it's the well casing, and that casing has about 8 years left per our last evaluation. The pump has a little over a decade still remaining on it, but it's the 8-year end of life for the casing that is the biggest concern for us now.
Okay, so by those standards, I guess it's okay that we are still employing this equipment, although
Yes.
we're getting near the end, but
Correct. So, currently we know that we have about 8 years left. As we continue on, we will continue to reevaluate the well and see if we can get a couple of extra years. But the latest assessment by our consultant, they've predicted approximately 8 years left of life. And so we plan to continue to run it. And if there are opportunities to reinvestigate and see if the well's continuing to hold up, especially after this emergency repair, we may get a couple of additional years out of it.
okay, thanks. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess the concern would be that the longer you extend that, even though it's within the useful life, the more emergency repairs are going to have to take place, and that's sort of the risk in the coming years, if I'm
Yes.
hearing everything correctly. So, thank you.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you, Commissioner Tagle. Commissioner Chang.
Hi, thank you for coming back again. Appreciate your information. So positionally, right, this situation is you're sounding the alarm, right? Infrastructure is broken. Funding is we're behind. We're at a deficit. And then you're mentioning, this instant or this case of the C4 well, having issues, right? So I have two questions. So when a well gets damaged or you have to repair it or anything that requires money, who or where does the money come from to repair that well?
So with regards to the well repair, normally we would look to the water fund. So those would be enterprise funds in a city. Within the city of Cerritos, there is not sufficient water funds to fund the repair of the well. So in order to fund the repair of the well, what we ended up having to do is we needed to divert money by deferring the pool boiler project over at Cerritos Park East. So we had about $1.2 million slated for the pool boiler repair. We ended up deferring that project and transferring those general fund dollars to perform the emergency repair on this well and to also fund the additional anticipated imported water costs during the time that the well is offline.
Okay, so even the water cost, the additional imported water cost, and the repair, you're taking money from a different city service to fund this.
Correct. We have deferred the pool boiler project. It is important to note that the pool boiler project, we know that the boiler is in bad condition. We know that it's failed on us a couple of times, but we've got it back up and running. As we speak today, the pool boiler is currently operational and keeping the pool within standard operating temperatures. But there is a standing consent item at every single council meeting moving forward. Should the pool boiler fail, City Council will have the opportunity to relook at the project and make a decision on how we're going to fund that replacement.
And then when you import the water from elsewhere into Cerritos, what is you mentioned it's more expensive, obviously, right? What is the difference in cost? So what is it if we were to draw the water from the well, and what is the dollar amount if we have to import it?
Yeah. So to withdraw water out of the well, we pay a replenishment assessment of approximately $454. And to import the water, we pay approximately $1,698 is what the new price is as of January 1st, 2026. So it's almost 3 times more. And so staff is doing its best to mitigate imported water costs by running our C1 and C2 wells a little longer and harder than we normally would.
Okay, thank you for the information. So this is what I'm seeing. when a situation with water and sewer, when something happens, we're actually going back to the general fund because we don't have enough money in our sewer and water and enterprise water and sewer fund. So we have to go to general fund again. And since general fund's already subsidizing us, but the infrastructure is not being subsidized. So now when everything breaks, we go back to the general fund again. So we're taking away money from the boiler in the pool. If something else happened again, we're probably taking it away from any other public services like park service, safety, street, right? These are all quality of life issues. And because we have insufficient fund in the enterprise fund, we're having to compromise other part of the city. And this is a very real example. And as it's my understanding, and I don't know if staff can confirm this, we, for 2025, 2026, we're already operating at a budget deficit in the general fund. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Just generally, our operating budget is operating in a deficit.
Okay. So to continue to draw money out of the general fund, it's just continuing to compromise the city's services. And, you know, I'll be the first to express how painful it is if my water bill is going to go up 2-3 times. You know, I have a large family, and it's going to be significant cost. And so I definitely feel it. But then when I start to compare, you know, are we losing Cerritos' services because we're not properly funding and paying for our enterprise water fund? We're not properly storing money in there, and we're constantly taking things out of here. And then the situation is even more critical because a lot of other infrastructure items are coming to the end of life, right? So, I would say it's a tough decision, but I don't think we have to bite the bullet on this one. So thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your additional information. And I think, you know, it gives the council, gives the commission and other folks clear picture of what's actually happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Vice Chair Hugh.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, my questions are, okay, were those 4 ground water wells built the same time, right?
Generally,
the 4 wells were built the same time,
yes, ma'am. Generally, the
same time, right? Yeah. And then how about the other 3 water wells condition right now?
The C5 well it's only the casing only that goes into the ground, so that one is not operational. That has about 20 years left life on the casing.
But I do remember that every year we do have a budget to maintain these 4 wells annually. So should be maintained well. And why this is the number 4 wells is conditions
Yeah, well,
right now?
it's primarily age. We're able to operate the well. We collect approximately $10 million of revenue, but the operating cost for the fund is $15 million. So we actually do not have, we're upside down. So there aren't enough revenues to actually pay for all the operating expenses, and that's why we've had the general fund subsidy through the years. But with regards to maintenance, our staff has been able to keep the well operating well. However, it's age. So the C2 and the C1 wells, both those wells also have about 10 years of life remaining on the casing. So we do have projects scheduled for design of replacement of those wells as well, and we know that they are slowly beginning to have issues. With regards to the C1 well, we started having issues with the heaters on and the cooling system for the pumps, which our team had just repaired. So there are still a lot of minor repairs that we continue to do, but we know that the overall life of the wells is about a decade each.
Thank you. But this is right now today we just have information only. We cannot make decision because the decision already made by the council member. But to us, we just have asked some questions, but won't work. So the decision already made by the council member, and also, I think pretty sure will pass in January, the end of January. But my question is, 4 wells were built the same time. How come the other 3 are working fine and only for 1 well, and then cost so much money to maintain or to replace? And also, every year we do have a budget to maintain these 4 wells. Okay, and then all the, the estimate, your cost, I don't know, how many estimate company you ask for? Only 1 or 2? The staff study, are those, the cost is fair or not? Is right or not?
Yes, so the General Pump Company is an on-call contractor that we have. And so we did solicit pricing from them. There was a similar emergency repair they did a couple of years ago, and it was within the same range. And so with regards to the hiring of General Pump Company, because we have an existing contract with them and they are our emergency repair contractor, we are working with them with prices in line with their existing contract pricing.
Yeah, I know. So even we have those estimate contractors estimate, but city should have our own engineer to evaluate the contract, the cost is right or not. A city like us, we should have our own engineer to make sure it's the estimate is right, because it's not fair if we pay so much money, which I think the budget city right now discuss is well above the should be. Too much, too high. So I think our city should have our own engineer to evaluate the estimate, right or not. This is a big project, costs so much money.
Yeah, yes, Commissioner, that is correct.
And we do have a yearly annual maintenance, fee to maintain these 4 wells. Should be, condition should be good right now. Or maybe suddenly number 4 has a problem. Okay, should be, fixable. Not it doesn't need to cost so much money to replace or whatever. So I think the city staff, our engineer should study for the benefit of a resident, not just give the outsider, to give us an estimate.
Yeah.
I'm in business for 50 years. The same house, okay, in Cerritos, I can estimate, I can give you appraisal $1 million different. I give you 3 comps. Yeah, it is truth. We cannot just, that's a, contractor, give us an estimate, oh, it's fine. But our staff should evaluate, should study to protect our own, residents. Yeah, this is a big issue right now. May cost a lot of money to, for the residents or something, because the entire city are discussing about this issue. Not only the water wells, the other things too. So I don't know, the staff make the right decision to recommend the city to do, to recommend the city council to do or not. But today, we discuss here, we ask question, won't help at all. Yeah, it's already done deal. It's, I think I'm stupid to ask questions because we really don't have to. Yeah, I read it, but anything we say won't work. Right? But anyway, thank you though. I still want to express my thought. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hugh. And again, Mr. Papa, Chris, thank you for coming to our meeting. I appreciate it. And again, please correct my figures if I'm wrong. Just a cursory overview from your presentation. You're hoping that the repair work starts end of January to be completed by mid-May, end of May? Am I accurate
Yes.
there? So again, assuming that that does happen, that's an additional, and you also, I'm sorry, let me back up. Also, you said that since the well has gone down, which was November, I can't remember if it was whatever month it was, 2-3 months, we've already accrued 196,000 in additional cost by buying water on the open market or the spot market. Is that correct?
Yes, so the cost that we've spent since the well has gone offline has been approximately $200,000. But I would say that that's currently lower than we initially predicted. Because of the recent rains through the past couple of weeks, people have been using less water, and so we've had to purchase less imported water. But if we're not able to repair the well within the estimated 3 to 4 month timeline that the contractor has predicted, it's possible we could be buying import water until the summer. And during the summer is when we anticipate a lot more water use, and we'll probably be having to purchase greater amounts of imported water at that time.
Absolutely, and that was my concern as well. If for some reason it doesn't get fixed, or God forbid, and this is a real concern, and certainly not trying to be doom and gloom, but before C4 went down, my understanding was we were hoping that it was going to have another 5 to 10 years worth of life, which clearly now it doesn't. And as a result of it being down, C1 and C2 are running harder than we ordinarily would have them run. So it's clear, and if I'm correct in your presentation, those wells are expected to have another 5 to 8 years of life, assuming we don't overuse them and we don't overrun them. But if while we're fixing C4, C1 or C2 goes down, we could be in the same boat for over a year. And again, my cursory overview of math, if this dragged out for one well or more wells over the course of a year, now you're looking at $1 million minimum buying water on the spot market or the open market, and that's assuming we have a steady rate of inflation, which I don't think anybody can assume that inflation rates will stay the same 6 months out, 12 months out, 15 months out. So in fact, the water could start costing us more, as well as greater demand in the summertime, as you so eloquently pointed out. Does that sound correct, or am I talking out of hand?
Yes, Commissioner, that is correct. So, while C4 is offline, staff understands that import water cost is going to continue to be a concern because we don't have reserves to address these additional import water needs. So that's why we had deferred the boiler project to pay for these additional costs. Being cognizant of that, our water division staff, they've been doing their best to mitigate the amount of import water cost by running C1 and C2 wells a little bit longer. And during periods when of low water use, especially at night, they're working to run those wells to try to push more water into our reservoirs so we can store more water at night. So during the day, they can get drawn down and we're not having to pull import water. But that does mean we're running them much longer than we normally would. And it's like, if you run a car for a very long time without resting it, the parts heat up, they get worn down, and you are shortening the life of that equipment. But we are doing the best to balance the operations and maintenance of the 2 wells that are continuing to run. And we're doing our best to manage the amount of import water that we're purchasing to try to be prudent with the funds that we're spending to operate and maintain the system.
No, I think that's excellent. I think that's exactly on point. And I thought the car analogy was a fantastic analogy. You can't continually run a car 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, and think eventually it's not going to break down quicker, as well as repairing of parts, as to Commissioner Tagley's point. These are all things that are going to cost money going forward, and we're going to get there quicker the more we run the wells. Mr. Carey, again, just to reiterate, as we said in the last meeting, at the end of the day, legally, the water bill is to be paid by the end user, not from the city general fund?
Yes, sir. Generally, it is an accepted and common practice in municipal finance for water utilities, enterprise funds to be self-funding by user fees. And that also includes not just covering operations costs, but providing funding for infrastructure maintenance needs, as well as developing a reserve that can be used for a rainy day. When we have an issue like this, we can draw down on the reserve within the water fund instead of having to rely upon our general fund to offset those costs.
Yes, and we've said this before, and again, I think we've all gotten education in the last 3 months on water and water enterprise. But yes, just to reiterate what you've just said, enterprise funds are supposed to be self-sufficient. They're supposed to take care of themselves. And correct me if I'm wrong, at the city council meeting last night, I believe it was Mayor Yokoyama, who said, and it is true, and correct me if I'm wrong, enterprise funds and general funds are not to be intermingled.
Correct. The general fund can be used to fund a variety of services and programs throughout the city. User fees collected as part of through the water utility can only be used for water enterprise services. So whatever we collect on the water enterprise fund side, we can only use on the water fund side. We cannot use it for any other purpose within the general fund. We can't use it to fund our public safety, our recreation programs, our library, whatever. It can only be used for water utility services.
And in as much as without accusing anybody of anything, we've only been here 3 months. Over the last 16 years since we've lost our redevelopment funds, clearly, to Commissioner Chang's point, that has clearly affected our quality of life issues, as we've taken, on average, I think it was the previous meeting, $8 to $9 million annually for a decade out of the general fund and put it towards water. Well, that's going to affect whether or not we fix potholes or trim trees, et cetera. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir. In 2011, when the redevelopment agency was dissolved, the city was receiving approximately $29 million a year. We were one of the largest redevelopment agencies in the state, and we were able to use a lot of that redevelopment money to help support infrastructure repairs to our water and sewer utilities and other capital improvement projects that we had. That went away and that allowed us to also keep user fees low, artificially low. That went away 15 years ago, and we've continued to kind of limp along with user fees that are not sufficient to offset the operating costs of the water utility, let alone provide for capital improvement needs or long-term maintenance. So yes, the loss of redevelopment was a major blow. It is one of the fundamental reasons why we're able to subsidize water utility costs in the first place. And when that went away in 2011, it had a significant impact that we're still dealing with today.
So again, I use the term, we kept them artificially low, which we shouldn't have done. So thank you, Mr. Carey. Thank you. Alvin, Chris, thank you for your time and your effort. I appreciate it very much. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Chang.
So one last comment regarding this. You know, we're looking at the situation, and this is really a hard pill to swallow for all the residents, right? I don't think one resident is going to say, I'm happy to pay extra few $1,000s in water bills. So if we're going to ask the residents to really fork out that money, and you know it's going to pass, right? I would like to ask staff or whoever's at the position of responsibility. Maybe we can have some kind of accountability, right? Maybe we should have some kind of reporting. Maybe we should have some kind of scorecard to show the residents, okay, the money that we spend, it's going to where it's supposed to go to. And it's done in the most prudent and most, just most transparent way, right? So if we're gonna be asking the residents to do this, I think we owe it to them to be as transparent and as responsible as possible. So if we can have some kind of reporting, compliance reporting or scorecard or anything, we can brainstorm even outside of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Great questions. And thank you again, gentlemen, for your service. I appreciate it so much. And I'm sure the residents do as well. All right. Agenda item 5, public comments. I don't have any cards, and there's nothing on my screen, so I don't know if we have any. Is there anyone here for public comments tonight? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comments. That was easy. Number 6, consent calendar. 6A, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, 7 p.m. Economic Development Commission meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Tagle and a second by Vice Chair Hugh. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, do we need a roll call for that?
Electronic voting should
Oh,
be
I'm sorry,
active on your
I'm sorry.
screens. No worries.
There we go. It'll pop up in a second.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Second.
nothing's popping up. Yours pop up? Mine didn't pop up either.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, we can take a roll call.
We'll take a roll call. Technology's not working, guys. Sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Miranda.
Okay. Commissioner Chang,
Yes, I agree.
Commissioner Taglay,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hu,
Aye.
and Chair Reyes.
Aye.
Vote passes by 4-0. Thank you.
Fantastic. Section 7A, new and old business. Review and consideration of an information report regarding apprenticeship programs provided by Cerritos College's Division of Continuing Education. Are they here? Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members of the Economic Development Commission. This evening, we are honored to have with us Cerritos College Instructional Dean, Dr. Graciela Vasquez, and Program Facilitator, Claudia Aguilar Gonzalez, who will provide an informational report regarding Cerritos College apprenticeship programs, connecting students and job seekers with paid hands-on training and industry-recognized credentials. At this time, I would like to invite Instructional Dean Dr. Graciela Vasquez and Program Facilitator Claudia Aguilar Gonzalez to the podium for this presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Economic Development Commissioners. Thank you for having us, and we will be doing our presentation shortly, and I am Claudia Aguilar Gonzalez, Program Facilitator with Cerritos College.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Graciela Vasquez, and thank you again for inviting us to share information about the apprenticeship programs at Cerritos College. For those of you who are not aware, apprenticeship has a very long history in the country, outside this country, and certainly in the state of California. And most recently, the governor in the state has put more resources into developing apprenticeship, supporting apprenticeship in industries to develop and become stronger in the number of apprentices and those who are involved. So, next slide, please. To just give a brief understanding of what is an apprenticeship program. An apprenticeship program is structured as a earn and learn program. So upon entering an apprenticeship program, the individual is immediately provided a job or secures a job and is entered into a competitive program at the college. And it provides supervised on-the-job training with related classroom instruction. And the college provides the instruction in the programs that we have, and we partner with sponsored agencies, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The third partner is actually the state and the federal government, who register every apprenticeship and every apprentice student who is doing the program. And they have standards. They also make sure that everyone is complying with what is happening in the program. They make sure that students are moving along in their training and their coursework so that they are not stuck in what is called an apprenticeship stage for not as long as they, because they can take advantage of the student and or the apprentice because they are paid differently than once they journey out and become a formal employee. So officially they document everyone with a number, a DAS number, and that's how they follow them through their trade and their training. And so, next slide, please. So who is involved? The first point of contact is what we call the sponsoring agency. And an agency is typically a collection of employers and or labor, or both. And so we have apprenticeship programs at the college that involve employers as well as labor. And they represent the field, they provide the on-the-job training piece, and the college provides the instructional piece. And each agency, because they are hiring these individuals or having a sponsor hire them, they have the application process. So much like, let's say, a nursing program, a student must apply to be an apprentice of a particular field that they're interested in. And there are requirements and timelines that they must fill. And so if they're accepted, this secures them immediately a job, day one. So they're employed, they're gaining wages, and then they are also entered into the program or enrolled in classes at the college. And so they are working most of the time full-time. And so then the employers understand that their particular apprentice has to be given time to come to class. So, and typically that's done in a structure that meets the needs of the program and the particular job or training that they're being given. So, for example, in some of our apprenticeship programs, they work for 3 months, and then they come to the college and take classes for 2 weeks straight, 80 hours. And then they go back to work, and so forth. The apprentice does enroll in a official class at the college. Some of them gain units. Most of our programs are unit earned, and they get a certificate. They all earn certificates. And these programs also build toward other continuing education. If they want to get an associate's degree after that or beyond, we support our students to do so. And they're offered in partnership with the agency, and what is called supplemental instruction is the credit courses that the college offers. And the college processes all the enrollment and the registration, and they have a record, just like any other student, a transcript that has all their classes and the certificates that they earn.
Next slide, please. So the current programs that we have that are apprenticeship programs within Cerritos College are number one being the Field Iron Workers, reinforcing Local 416. We do have the Field Iron Workers Structural, which is Local 433. Also the Painting and Decorating Contractors of America, known by the PDCA or SPDCA. There is an LA Metro Risk Management, which has been newly approved, and we're yet to launch that apprenticeship program with Los Angeles Metro. The electrician trainee, which is pending. We also have the 3 other trades with LA Metro, which is rail maintenance of way, one being the track inspector, which is pending DA's approval. It is in queue, by the way, and we just heard back from Department of Apprenticeship Standards. The other one being the traction power inspector and the signal inspector. Next slide, please. We're going to talk specifically now about each trade very briefly, just to give you an overview. The Field Iron Workers, they gain hands-on skill training in ironwork. It is a 4-year program with the 2 different occupations being the structural, which is 8 semesters at 38 units, and the reinforcing being also 8 semesters, 34 units. And once they comply with all the units in the 4-year program, they journey out and they get their Journey Workers license. They also get their certificate awarded from the college, from the Department of Apprenticeship Standards, and the Field Iron Workers, which prepares these apprentices for high-paying jobs and also long-term employment. Next slide.
So another program that we have at the college is the Painters. They're the Painting and Decorating Contractors of America. And again, this is a collection of employers and agencies that work to support the students. It's a licensed professional specializing in all aspects of painting. And they have done work on at the college as well. So some of their training they do on campus during their classwork. And it's a 3-year program. These students are required to take 12 courses that earn them the certificate, and it's 6,000 hours of on-the-job training. And they typically have their classes on one day, on Saturdays, all day. And so they come to the college, and then they go back to work during the week. They then, as the other programs, receive their license as a journey person and a certificate from the college, again, the Department of Apprenticeship Standards and the agency, which is the PDCA. And it's approved through the Southern California Prevailing Wage Work. The electrician trainee program, next slide please, is an additional program that we have currently at the college as a credit program and are also going through the process of getting it approved as an apprenticeship program. And it's state approved right now for students to be under the DIR as students working as legally as a electrician trainee. So all electrician trainees need to acquire a certain amount of hours in training, whether it's an apprenticeship or not. And so we have 2 programs. The residential electrician, who has to fulfill 18 units. They have to complete 4,800 on-the-job training hours, and they get a electrician trainee card. And all of the classes are, again, provided a certificate once they complete. For the non-residential lighting technician, it's 8 courses, 2,000 hours on the job, also get a trainee card, and they get a certificate about completion of the courses.
Next slide. The next trade that we're going to talk about is risk management. It's a career pathway with LA Metro. This program prepares you for a career as a workers' compensation analyst to help manage employees' safety and claims. It is designed as a 13-month apprenticeship program with 24 courses, 2,000 on-the-job training hours, also a certificate from the Insurance Education Association, and LA Metro on-the-job training on site, along with job placement opportunity. And these are the other 3 trades that are under the Rail Operations of Maintenance of Wayside System and that are coming soon with LA Metro. You can train in these 3 trades anywhere from between 18 to 22 months in a skilled job. And the 3 roles are the ones that I had previously talked about, which is track inspector. You inspect and repair tracks and switches. Traction power inspector is work on electrical power systems. And the signal inspector, which is maintain and repair rail systems or rail signal systems. And all these opportunities would be directly with LA Metro in collaboration with Cerritos College, being the lead educational agency.
Next slide, please. Now we'd like to share a small video that might give you a better idea of what the students are experiencing through these programs and the program in general.
Basically, it gives you an opportunity to learn while you earn. That's the term we like to use.
We start you off with just the very basics of being an iron worker until the very end. When you go to graduate, you're taking classes like foreman training.
Some guys and gals will come in and they might not know English. So now they're becoming bilingual, learning English and Spanish, which means they're worth more money. They're worth your weight in gold.
It's very rare to see a woman coming into this trade, at least when I first started. So yeah, I think at first it was a little scary, but I think, you know, you're able to navigate a lot of this because there is a lot of good men out there that are willing to help you and teach you.
Completing the end goal at the time is proving to my kids that, you know, they were worth every blood, sweat, and tear, because it is blood, sweat, and tear out there.
It's been a journey, but I hold a lot of pride in being able to say I'm a woman union iron worker.
So on this slide, we wanted to talk a little bit about our emphasis also in providing support for those who may be underserved in the trades and in apprenticeship overall, and that is our ERICA grant, which is Equal Representation and Construction Apprenticeship, and this grant focuses on building the numbers of women and providing support for them in apprenticeship programs. And they are provided with this grant childcare funds up to $10,000 a year, outreach, so to support them and also bring them into the trades, and also it builds community and resources for them, and also a mentoring program of some of the women who are already journey persons in the field and or going through the program at this time. Next slide, please.
At this time, I would like to ask the Economic Development Commissioners to open up the floor for discussion if anyone has any questions that we can answer or for clarification.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. Do any commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Tagle, anything? Oh, Commissioner Chang?
Okay, just really quick. So thank you guys for coming today. I think, you know, helping young people to be able to learn some trade and get employed, that's the best case scenario, right? So my quick question is this. Do we have any Cerritos businesses partner in this program? So whereby you send your students or your apprentices onto Cerritos businesses and have that partnership?
Yeah, so within the programs that we currently have, any of the employers who, for example, do ironwork or do painting are either can be involved. I don't have all the names, and I'm sure there's some from all of the cities that we represent, and then some, who are using apprentices, so to speak, or have apprentices in their companies. If they're painting or they're doing ironwork, they have, you know, folks who or companies who are in alliance with this agency, right? Who has a collection basically of employers and labor in some instances. So in our PDCA, for example, they have a wide range of painting companies that they assist to place apprentices, right? And they get paid through that employer.
Right. The win-win situation would be the Cerritos businesses, right? You funnel your students into the Cerritos businesses, so the Cerritos College students are trained, and then Cerritos businesses benefit from these. My last question is this: do you have any metrics to say what success look like? So, for example, what is the conversion rate from apprentice to full-time employee, or what is the satisfaction score of employers who use apprentices, right? So do you have any tracking of what success looks like?
Yes, and there is a lot of data that the state collects, as well as the Division of Apprenticeship Standards, and the agency, so to speak, individually. So an apprentice has to be what's called sponsored by an employer. So that employer is investing in that individual, and they are, in effect, the ones who are training them. So they invest already. They are watching them go through the program, and what happens is they take steps or phases in their program. In order for them to advance, they have to have met, for example, the coursework, have passed their courses, and the training that is given to them. And then they give them a raise. They call it steps. So, for example, the painting, I think they have like 8 steps or something like that. And so every time they are successful or complete steps, they get a little bit more of a raise until what they call journey out. At that rate, they're making the full-fledged salary of, let's say, the gained person. It's the journey person who is a full, for example, iron worker who makes right now, I think, 6 digits plus, benefits and everything. And the employer is basically entering into a contract, as is the student, to support not only their industry, but their company, and also investing in an employee that they're going to keep long-term because they have trained them. If they don't like them, they send them out, right? They don't make it, right? They have to go and redo. If they don't pass a class, they have to redo the class. They don't get to journey out unless they fulfill all of the requirements that an employer needs, or an agency, and or the labor. Labor also works to support the employee once they come in, and the college supports their learning. And there is data that the Department of Apprenticeship Standards and the Department of Labor keep to see the wages and also how many students in what time they are completing their programs.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
So the best case scenario is Cerritos College funneling their apprentices to businesses here in Cerritos. And that's also a selling point, right? We have apprentices working here for us. So thank you for your time today.
And if I may add, we would welcome any employers in the city of Cerritos, a collection of them in a particular industry, who are interested in training and or creating a program along with the college, and we can create these apprenticeship programs. There is a lot of resources to build and create more apprenticeship programs in all the cities around us and in the state of California, and so that's what we have been doing. There are grants available to kind of to initiate these programs, provide support and funding for us to do so. So if anybody's interested or would like to, we are open to discussion.
And our last slide has our actual contact for our program, for our department, our email, and then our website as well. So if we can continue collaborating and hopefully establish a partnership and start an apprenticeship program with the city of Cerritos, we welcome that, and we can support you with that. So thank you for having us.
Is there something?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for coming to our council meeting. Actually, I was in Cerritos College last Friday afternoon, discussed about your 70th anniversary programs and also the fundraising program. So I was there for a couple hours. So anyway, I already offered the student, the job opportunity too. So I say I'm hiring a cook and a painter. So student painter or cook, they want to get part-time job in my hotel, they are welcome. So I really think this program is very, very good. In our life, I think we should all learn about the basic painting to fix our, the problem at home. And not only as a student, not only learn English and math, but I think this is really practical, right? So it's cost so much money to get a plumber to fix your any kind of leaks. So this is really good. So my question is, the student, how much the tuition the student has to pay, or is a free tuition?
It's free.
Free.
The state of California supports and funds the
free.
programs and the courses, and
Yeah.
they're getting paid.
And also, when they go to your school, do they get paid? Student get paid, right? I think long time ago, you join those kind of program, and a student get paid when they are attending the school, right? Beside the charge scale, right? So how much the student will get paid if they go to?
The student doesn't have to pay for the classes, so those are free to them, and they are getting paid for the training on the job. So in essence, they get a job,
Yeah.
they're being trained in it so that they can become a full-fledged whatever the job is. And so in essence, it is a free job where they're getting paid and free education because they don't have to pay for the courses or the books and none of the materials. Everything is provided. All they need is their sweat and effort and, just courage to do something like this.
Yeah,
over
I think
several
this is
years.
a great program. After they graduate, after they finish the courses, they are paid up very high. You're talking about these jobs. So really, we should let our friend knows. This is a good opportunity to learn something. It's very helpful in our life. And thank you for your information, and thank you for coming to our council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Not much more. To thank you both for coming. Obviously, this is very much needed and timely given the job market these days and difficulties for young folks in Gen Z, especially as new graduates looking for employment is challenging as ever. My question was just going to be, how can we help? As a commission and individuals here, we have business owners, public sector, private industry. Sounds like your help could come in just the support of resources for potential apprenticeships and that kind of thing. But if there's any way we can support beyond that, would love to hear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we would welcome any collection of support of employers, perhaps, that if you can dream it, we can make it an apprenticeship program. So if it could be something within the city, where you have all these particular jobs, that if those who are training and or employing these individuals, a collection of them want to get together and create an apprenticeship, we would support that and be able to do that through the college. So it could be something that could be very much within the city, hire local to come in, and we train them and get them employed, and we have resources for them to do so.
Thank you.
Just sum up, ladies. Thank you so much for being here tonight. 2 points. One, as a proud Cerritos College alumni, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here tonight. And number two, no one has probably railed more than I have about pushing the city of Cerritos in the 21st century with the new technologies and things of that nature. However, as you just heard with the water presentation earlier, ironworkers, electricians, painters, it's a viable occupation going forward. And it's something where people can make, 6 figures a year, I believe you said was the going rate now for an ironworker. And coming out of Cerritos College and living in Cerritos or around Cerritos, I think that's a wonderful thing to do. So keep up the great work. I hope to see you ladies again, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also add that for the ironworkers, we have created a bachelor's degree and are currently in the final stages, hopefully to get approval from the Board of Governors for a bachelor's degree in field ironwork. So our students don't have to choose, right? They can move further on and become leaders and supervisors as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
All right. Item 7B, review and consideration of an informational report regarding economic development updates on the city of Cerritos, including grand opening events, building permit activity, and ongoing development projects. Ms. Miranda.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Chair and members of the Economic Development Commission. The City of Cerritos continues to experience strong reinvestment across all sectors, reflecting business confidence and community growth. Each effort advances the City Council's strategic plan, goal number 4, strengthen economic development, by maintaining Cerritos' high standards for design, business retention, and balanced growth. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for the presentation. First, I am pleased to highlight the recent grand opening of Bay Orthodontics. On November 5th, 2025, the city participated in the grand opening of Bay Orthodontics, a new orthodontic practice located within an existing commercial center on South Street. Bay Orthodontics provides specialized dental care services to the community and reflects continued business confidence and reinvestment within Cerritos. Building permit activity continues to reflect positive reinvestment throughout Cerritos. As shown in the table, during calendar year 2025, the city issued 1,990 permits and finaled 2,107 permits. July was the most active month with 207 permits issued. On average, the city processes approximately 165 permits per month, representing steady construction levels across residential, commercial, and industrial projects. This ongoing activity reflects strong private investment in property upgrades, tenant improvements, and new development, further reinforcing the city's economic vitality. Next, I will provide a brief overview of ongoing development activity throughout Cerritos. These projects enhance quality of life by improving commercial areas, restaurants, and residential neighborhoods, while creating local employment opportunities. Additionally, these development projects illustrate continued reinvestment and progress toward achieving the City of Cerritos strategic plan, goal number 4, strengthen economic development. Chubby Cattle Restaurant, located in the Plaza 183 shopping center, offers a high-end Japanese barbecue and hot pot dining services. Exterior improvements to the site, including updated finishes, refreshed landscaping, and parking lot improvements, were completed in August 2025. The city participated in the grand opening of Chubby Cattle in September 2025. Tour Le Jour, a French Asian bakery restaurant at the northwest corner of South Street and Carmenita Road, has completed its exterior patio project. The improvements include a new outdoor dining area with landscape and parking lot enhancements. The city is pleased to report that the project was finalized in early October 2025 and provides an inviting outdoor space that complements the bakery's design while contributing to South Street's pedestrian-friendly environment. Valley Christian High School Stadium remodel continues to make significant progress. The project includes new bleachers, a synthetic turf field, and a new rubberized track. Site improvements such as landscaping and the entry plaza are nearing completion, with the entire project expected to be finalized by the end of January 2026. This modernization enhances both athletic and community use of the facility while maintaining the school's long-standing presence in Cerritos. Renovations continue at the Keystone Plaza Shopping Center. The City Council approved project incorporates craftsman-style architecture and detailed facade improvements designed to complement the adjacent Cerritos Plaza. Phase 1 of construction is complete, business signage has been reinstalled, and the remaining landscape work is nearing completion. The city approved the development of 2 new single-family residences on Artesia Boulevard, including one with a detached accessory dwelling unit. The homes feature a modern farmhouse architectural style with wood siding and decorative garage doors. Demolition and grading have been completed, and construction is now underway following permit issuance in September 2025. AutoZone is the newest addition to the city's South Street corridor. The project includes significant interior remodeling, facade improvements, and new landscaping. Construction is expected to be completed in the coming weeks, contributing to the ongoing revitalization of South Street Commercial Corridor and supporting continued business activity in the area. The Extra Space Storage project included conversion of the first floor from vehicle to self-storage use, parking lot restriping, and installation of new signage. The project has been completed and the facility has fully reopened for business. Improvements are underway for Angelo's Burgers at the former Boys Hamburgers site. The project includes a new tile roof, refreshed landscaping, and minor interior remodeling. Permits were issued in July 2024, and construction continues, with staff maintaining communication to ensure timely completion. Volvo Cars has joined the Cerritos Auto Square, operating within the existing Volkswagen Cerritos facility. Plans have been approved for a new illuminated wall signage and a monument sign at Studebaker Road and 183rd Street, which will enhance visibility along this major corridor. Permits were issued in November 2025, further expanding the range of automotive brands available in the Cerritos Auto Square. The Ford Automobile reconditioning facility will serve the existing Ford dealership within the Cerritos Auto Square. The project includes new interior work areas, a customer lounge, and upgraded facade materials. Landscape and parking lot improvements are also included, with permits ready to be issued to allow construction to begin. The new industrial building at 17600 Crusader Avenue has received all necessary approvals. The 75,000 square foot facility features smooth concrete walls, stone accents, and enhanced landscaping. With plan review complete and permits approved, construction is expected to begin shortly. The city is pleased to share that Chick-fil-A restaurant within Los Cerritos Center is proposing a remodel that includes a new drive-through service canopy, trash enclosure upgrades, and refreshed interior finishes. Plans have administratively been approved and construction drawings are under review. The project will enhance functionality while maintaining the site's design quality. At Edwards Roads, 2 existing office buildings will be replaced by a new 58,000 square foot industrial facility. The design features smooth tilt-up concrete walls with decorative stone and contemporary architectural detailing. Plans remained under city review with revised civil drawings expected following applicant resubmittal. At 16323 Shoemaker Avenue, plans are underway for a 159,000 square foot industrial facility, replacing an older building on site. The project's contemporary design includes decorative panels and stacked stone accents. Plan check review is nearing completion, and permits will be issued soon to allow construction to proceed. Clarkdale Estate Homes will bring 5 new 2-story residences, each with an accessory dwelling unit, to the neighborhood. The homes feature contemporary architecture and detailed landscaping. Plans are currently under city review, and the project will add high-quality residential options to Cerritos. A conditional use permit amendment has been issued for the property located at 10621 Midway Avenue. The amendment includes site improvements such as new signage, fencing, exterior painting, parking lot restriping, and new frontage landscaping, utilizing water-saving plant material. City staff continues to work with the applicant through the plan review process to address remaining corrections. Tokyo Central, a Japanese specialty grocery store, is proposed within the former Pacific Sales tenant space in Cerritos Town Center. The store will be operated by a team affiliated with Marukai, a well-established Japanese grocery brand in Southern California. The project includes a comprehensive interior remodel to accommodate grocery operations, customer circulation, and updated fixtures, along with minor exterior improvements associated with the build-out. Plans are currently under review by the city and county. Once completed, the project will introduce a unique specialty retail use to the town center area and further enhance the diversity of shopping options available in Cerritos. The city continues discussions with Macerich Incorporated regarding the redevelopment of the former Sears parcel at Los Cerritos Center. The concept envisions a mixed-use project with retail, hotel, and above moderate residential uses integrated into the mall campus. Staff is working closely with the property owner to review potential designs that maintain Cerritos' high-quality standards while enhancing the center's long-term vitality. In conclusion, the level of development activity throughout Cerritos reflects continued confidence from businesses, property owners, and investors in the city's long-term strength and stability. These projects modernize the built environment, enhance the city's appeal, and generate new employment opportunities. The city remains focused on maintaining high-quality design standards, supporting business partnerships, and advancing projects that align with the City Council's strategic goals. Collectively, these efforts reinforce Cerritos' leadership in economic development and ensure the community's sustained prosperity and quality of life. At this time, it is recommended that the Commission review and discuss the information provided and receive and file this report. This concludes my presentation. At this time, staff is available to answer any questions that the commissioners may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Do I have any questions from commissioners for Ms. Miranda or any staff?
Do you have any?
Maybe? Go ahead, Commissioner Tagley.
Great. Thanks, Ms. Miranda, for the information. Great to see all the wonderful progress. You had mentioned last month with regards to the number 4 in the city's strategic plan that there was a comprehensive marketing strategy for economic development. That was one of your objectives. So it's nice to see some of this come to fruition. I'm just curious, having the marketing background that I have, with all of this new investment coming in, are there any marketing strategies that have been employed to be able to attract this investment? Sounds like there's a lot going on, so I'm curious to see what you found most successful.
We do work pretty comprehensively with our communications division to celebrate our successes when we have opportunities to do that. We've also been very active at the city council level in promoting our businesses, as you've seen through our Business Spotlight program. So yeah, we do. While we don't have a dedicated program for to share these successes, when we do have opportunities, particularly as it relates to grand opening events and things of that nature, we work directly with our communications division to get the word out and share that with the community.
Thank you. We'll look forward to more. And I'm excited for Tokyo Central and some of these other businesses to come in.
Thank you, Commissioner Tagley. Commissioner Chang?
Okay, so thank you guys very much. You know, all this activity just shows that this is healthy growth, right? And this is the business, it's happening in Cerritos. And also reminded me the last time we talked about, you know, we're so heavily relying on the Cerritos Auto Squares tax revenue. And this is just a sign that we're diversifying even further, right? Growing businesses outside. I know Volvo moved in, which is great, right? But we're also diversifying. So, you know, this is an encouraging sign that we're growing. I do have a question, because also last time I remember we talked about streamlining the permitting process and doing this stuff, doing the application online and really helping businesses approve, get their permit approved. Well, from what you have seen, have you seen any further? Maybe what is the top 3 delays of any kind of permitting process? Is there any opportunities to kind of speed that along or clear any bottlenecks?
I think there's a lot of back and forth between our planning division and project applicants to get approvals for various projects, particularly in the design review component. I think that's just a natural byproduct of the level of quality that the city works to provide not only to the community but to the business community. So I think that's the one item that we have is the back and forth between the city and the applicants in working to get plans to the city's standard. But I think we've made tremendous strides in our permitting process and really have made a significant effort to help facilitate the expedition of our application review and then getting it into building and safety plan check. Those things all take time, but we have made significant strides over the last couple of years to really help improve that. And I think this lengthy list of projects that you see before you is a testament to that.
Yes. Yes. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is evidence of hard work, and this is a good trend. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr.
My
Chang.
turn.
Yes,
I
Vice
have
Chair Hu.
many questions. I think within next few years, the most important development project for the city of Cerritos is the SEAL Center. And then if this goes well, the city of Cerritos at least will generate a few $1 million from sales tax, from hotel room taxes too. So I do have many questions. First of all, okay, the Los Cerritos Center property owner, this one is Mercerni Inc. Okay, they just own the building center, or they have the land too.
They're the
Land is Cerritos Cities, right?
they're the property owner. Macerich is the property owner.
Include the land and the building.
Yes.
So okay, so they will make decision who they are going to build, and who they will choose. They want to choose the developer. So there's nothing for the city of Cerritos to pick up the the developers. No, we cannot.
Generally speaking, no, we wouldn't be involved in the selection of a developer that Macerich is working with. But we have been working with Macerich very closely in trying to develop a comprehensive plan for that property. As you know, we just went to the city council a couple weeks ago with a comprehensive rezoning of that property to allow for mixed-use development. So the city's been very active in trying to help facilitate the development of that parcel.
Yeah, I think, but I still, as you know, the city commissioner, so I do have some questions. Okay, do you know that mixed use is how many stories for this building, mixed use?
You know, unfortunately,
idea.
I don't have the area development plan in front of me. I don't remember what the entitlements provided for.
But city do have limit on the heights of the building too, right? So that will limit the building will be 3-story or 4-story of
We do generally try to ensure that buildings are constructed to match the surrounding character of the developments in the area.
Okay, but I think obviously mixed use will be retail and condo or apartment on the second or third floor. Won't be single family home, so will be retail and condos, or apartments. And then so far, do you know about the hotel development? Do they have the brand the hotel brand name yet? Not yet.
No.
They don't have it. Okay. Do you have any idea that how many rooms they were built for the hotel? Nothing.
I don't have that information.
So nothing. Okay. So anyway, since the property owner, they own the building and the land too. So really, city of Cerritos have doesn't have that much control on this development, except the building permit limited height, and so we won't have that much control for this development, right?
As I mentioned, we went through the comprehensive rezoning of that property. And so we will have some development control through the area development plan process. So we will have that. They'll have to come to us for project approval. And as I mentioned, I know our city manager and our city leadership has been having ongoing conversations with Macerich about the future disposition and development of that property.
Yeah, I think this is very good, project for the city. Yeah, very important too, and will generate so much sales tax and room tax. So really, I think I pay a lot of attention on this project. So thank you very much for your answer. Thank you.
But just to clarify on that, there hasn't been a final determination on what the use is. You just rezone, but there's nothing in stone that says, yes, a hotel is definitely being built.
Correct. There's
That's what I thought.
no defined development proposal yet.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I do agree it would be a tremendous economic engine, but yeah, there's nothing that's certain at this point in time.
We rezoned it to be able to help facilitate that.
Thank you.
Again, Ms. Miranda, thank you for the excellent report. Yeah, to piggyback off all the commissioners, it's not just the Sears, which again will be a huge moneymaker for the city, but it looks like we are open for business. We continue. I know this commission, as we talk amongst ourselves for sure, and as we go out and talk to business owners who are already here and are looking to come into the city of Cerritos, we do everything we possibly can to let people know that Cerritos is open for business. We want new businesses coming in. We want this to be a destination location. Whether it's Cerritos residents who maybe live in the apartments across from the town center or the apartments behind the mall, or it's people in adjoining cities who work in Cerritos. Maybe they stay for a happy hour or dinner after they get off work in the town center or the mall and our other industrial complexes. So great report. Well done. Well done. All right. Moving on. 7C, review and consideration of a request by the Economic Development Commission, that's us, to discuss potential summer activation concept at Cerritos Town Center. Ms. Miranda.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This evening's presentation was prepared in response to the Economic Development Commission's prior discussion and consensus requests to explore a potential summer activation concept at Cerritos Town Center. The presentation provides a preliminary overview of the concept, summarizes high-level outreach and cost context, and is intended to support Commission discussion and direction. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for the presentation. As you may recall, at the December 9th, 2025 Economic Development Commission regular meeting, the Commission expressed interest in exploring whether a summer activation concept at Cerritos Town Center could support on-site restaurants, increase early evening activity, and enhance the visitor experience. In accordance with the City of Cerritos Commission and Committee Scope of Authority Policy 6.02, while commissions have the ability to discuss and advise, they do not have authority to direct staff time or establish policy. As such, for this potential concept, any further request for evaluation beyond this evening's discussion would require commission action and City Council approval. In response to the Commission's discussion at the December 9th Economic Development Commission meeting, staff worked with the Department of Community and Cultural Services, Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts, or CCPA, and Property Management for Cerritos Town Center, Vestar Development Company, to gather preliminary information to support a commission-level discussion and to outline key considerations related to feasibility, coordination, and potential cost drivers, which will be discussed in tonight's presentation. In an effort to help frame the discussion, existing city programming is able to provide a general cost context. Concerts Under the Stars is a city-sponsored summer concert program held at Heritage Park on Thursday evenings and includes full band performances with staging, sound, and lighting. For reference, approximate costs per event include about $2,200 for performers and about $1,000 for city staffing. It is important to note that the figures shown here do not include production or technical support, which would represent a separate cost component depending on event design and technical requirements. The Department of Community and Cultural Services manages a range of summer programs and events across multiple locations and schedules. This broader programming context would be a factor in evaluating any potential activation efforts. A former city-sponsored program, Concerts in the Plaza, was held at Liberty Park and featured solo performers or small ensembles with a limited production footprint. For reference, approximate costs per event included about $500 for performers and about $225 for city staffing. The program was held prior to the COVID-19 pandemic and was discontinued following the pandemic. Similar to the prior example, the figures shown here do not include production or technical support, which would represent a separate cost component depending on event design. Production support, including staging, lighting, and audio, would represent a separate cost component typically supported by the CCPA. Costs vary depending on equipment needs, staging configuration, lighting usage, and seating requirements. From an operational standpoint, additional coordination would be required with tenants and property management, as well as permitting, scheduling, security, and site layout considerations. These items are presented at a high level to identify areas that would require further evaluation should the Commission wish to pursue this concept beyond preliminary discussion. The fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget was adopted in a deficit position, and the city continues to manage ongoing fiscal constraints, including recent unanticipated water infrastructure expenditures. Each fiscal year, the city's budget typically includes funding for the existing Concerts Under the Stars program. Should the Commission wish to further explore an additional or separate music series, any associated costs would be evaluated as part of the fiscal year 2026 to 2027 budget process, subject to overall budget priorities and the availability of revenues. The discussion item this evening aligns with goal number 4 of the City of Cerritos strategic plan, which focuses on strengthening economic development. The potential summer activation concept may align with the city's ongoing efforts to evaluate opportunities that support local businesses, encourage customer visitation, and enhance activity within key commercial areas such as Cerritos Town Center. At this stage, the discussion is exploratory and intended to assess whether this type of activation concept aligns with the Commission's economic development priorities before any further evaluation or direction is considered. The Economic Development Commission serves in an advisory role to the City Council on economic development matters. This item provides a preliminary overview and high-level cost context for a potential summer activation concept. Should the Commission wish to direct further evaluation, that effort would be considered a special project requiring City Council authorization pursuant to Policy 6.02. At this time, staff recommends the Economic Development Commission take the following actions. 1, review and discuss the information provided, and 2, pursuant to the City of Cerritos Commission and Committee Scope of Authority Policy 6.02, by Commission majority vote, either option 1, provide a specific scope, advisory only, for a Commission-initiated special project to further explore a potential summer activation concept at Cerritos Town Center, and approve the transmittal of a request for authorization to the City Council per Policy 6.02, or option 2, receive and file this report and take no further action. This concludes my presentation. At this time, staff is available to answer any questions that the commissioners may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Well, first things first, since I'm the one who brought it up last meeting, I don't think anyone here on this dais believes that we are city council. So we've said repeatedly that that we are advisory role only. That's what we do up here. So if I have to take the heat for that one, I will take the heat for that one. Number 2, as I've talked to my fellow commissioners, yes, in an ideal world, in an ideal time frame, we would love to go big or go home. We would love to have, I believe the Concert of the Stars is $2,000 and have a band in the middle of the town center every single Thursday to draw those workers out of their office buildings, not have them get in their car and go back home, but have them stay in Cerritos. Happy hours provided by Islands, I think, as well as the taco place, the other areas. Again, trying to make Cerritos a destination location. We're not just catering to Cerritos residents. That's more Concert Under the Stars with respect to what goes on in Heritage Park over the summertime. We want it to the people that work in Cerritos, so they don't go home. They stay here, have dinner, enjoy happy hour. That was the gist of my ideology. Having said that, it is equally true, as I've looked at this further, and of course, we all saw the water situation the last 3 months, we are under budget constraints. for good, bad, or even though we think a lot of us think, including myself, think it's a fantastic idea, we definitely cannot go big or go home. Anything we do will have two components. One, it can't start till after the start of the new fiscal year. Again, if council approves it, if there's a special situation, and it'll probably have to be on a lower scale. The dreams and ideology of like, oh yeah, $2,000 a week, or that's probably not going to fly. I haven't spoke to the council about this. I don't think any of us have. But initially it'll have to be on some sort of smaller scale. And that's where my thinking takes us. However, I think in concept and in ideology, I think it's still a fantastic idea. I think anything we can do, the research is very clear, as I've stated since I've gotten up here on this dais. Millennials and younger Generation X, they want the experience. When they get out of work, it's not traditional 1985 or 1995 where the family goes and has dinner. They want to go somewhere where like, oh, there's a band, there's special happy hour prices, oh, there's lighting. It's something that they can't get on their cell phone. That's what draws them to leave that genre and come somewhere like, oh, let's go to happy hour at the town center. Let's sit in the quad area or on the patio at Islands and let's have whatever happy hour specials they're doing. So again, that's the gist of my ideology. I have talked to Islands and some of the restaurants there. They are all in. They think that's a great idea. We have patio space. Let's do that. But again, bringing it back to reality with budget constraints, and this is an advisory council. This is not the city council. This is an advisory committee. So going forward, I'll let my commissioners talk, and then we'll ask staff for questions. Any ideas one way or the other, my fellow commissioners, about what we want to do? We can just file it and talk about it later, or we can go to council and see if they want to give us permission to have a special, I apologize, what was it called, Ms. Miranda? A special advisory, yeah.
Yes, thank you for the question, Chair. It would be considered a special project that would go to City Council.
Any questions or comments from the council, from the commission, excuse me? See,
Well, my comments is, of course, if we have money, fine, no problem, it's ideal thing to do, won't hurt. But to me, I think the families in Cerritos, the young, generation like you, they have young kids, and they are very busy with the school programs. And also in the summer, we do have a heritage park, that music on Thursday evening, and also we have a Liberty Park, the performance too. For the time being, should be enough for the, enough. And then the old generation like me, and I don't know how many people like to go to town center, have a drink there, social with, with people on the happy hour. I don't know. Did you figure out that how many people would love to go to the happy hour in town, in that town center, right? If you have this program, okay. So, if you all agree to go to city council, choose option one, that's fine to me. But myself, if I vote, I will choose a, B. But if you all like to choose a A, I will follow the majority. So that's my opinion.
Commissioner Chang, anything?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, to qualify this comment, to your point, this is kind of like the wrong time. We're operating at a deficit for 25, 26. We're also having the emergency well 4 situation. And so to bring this topic up is a little bit, the timing is not that good. However, at the end of the day, if we can have projections or ROIs that prove the case, right, then I would say you can build a case, right? So if there's money to be made, and if we can project the right amount, why wouldn't we, right? Why wouldn't we help the businesses to make money? Why wouldn't we help fund this? But anyways, I qualify it by saying the timing is bad. It's too hard to push this through all the way to 2027. And then also, if we were to do this take this on seriously, we need to look at the numbers. We need to look at what is the baseline without, we have a good model right now with a Performing Arts Center, right? Without Performing Arts Center event, our baseline business is making this kind of money. We're taking in this kind of revenue, tax revenue. Once that baseline is established, then you say, okay, when we add an event, how much lift do we see in tax revenue? And if we can leverage that and maybe even use the same model and build a ROI, right? What is the return on investment? Then I would say, let's go for it. But I would say the contingency is we have to have the numbers to back it up. And we also have to kind of consider the political climate at this time. It's just, the residents are probably thinking, my goodness, my taxes, my water bill is going to go up by $1,000 this year. Why is the city doing this? So anyways, either way, I think I'm on Grace Hu's side, meaning, hey, you know what? Maybe the timing is not right at this point. But I'm not completely against it because if the numbers don't lie in this case, if you can project, well, they do lie sometimes, but if numbers can justify it, then I think it makes sense. So I'm in the middle.
Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Commissioner Tagle.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I'd say for this, again, in terms of just economic development, I would just challenge the group to think about any proposal, not just this happens to be summer activation, but whatever it could be for the revenue side, right? This is meant to stimulate business. I think we've focused on the cost of it, but obviously you wouldn't do something like this if there wasn't a revenue opportunity, if at bare minimum lets you break even, but ideally lets you generate more in revenue than the cost. And so if this were to be explored, and I get that it's probably looking at next fiscal year, 2026, 27, so maybe it's worth it at that point. But look at the projected revenues for that. So if you're talking to an Islands or any of these restaurants, and they know what a busy night would be. It's been brought up, obviously, on busy nights for CCPA. Maybe they can use that as a projection for what their incremental revenue would be during such an event. So I would want that to be incorporated in any future analysis, whether it's this or anything else. To frame it as purely a cost, I think is a bit short-sighted. The Heritage Park event, which I go to, and I have a kid, that's great. I would think that that's probably treated more as a cost, but there are food trucks there, so maybe there's a revenue component there. I don't know, but I would think that something that's centered around a center of commerce activity like this Cerritos Town Center has the higher potential for revenue generation in terms of sales tax, and whatever benefits may come of just the added traffic in the area. Maybe they're not just going to the restaurants or they're shopping or whatever it may be. So in the broader sense, obviously we know the demographics of Cerritos. I grew up here as well. But let's not discount what the economic power of folks who interact with Cerritos. I think what your phrase is always in the literature, shop, dine, and work. So all of these folks do not necessarily live in Cerritos, but they interact with Cerritos. I throw in recreation as well, probably to a large extent. So it's not just the residents of Cerritos that I think we want to consider in any proposal, but all of these folks who come through Cerritos. Maybe they just have family that live in Cerritos, so they want to come here. A lot of times, if there are more dining options for recreation, then they'll come here and do so. Obviously, CCPA, obviously we're not catering to only Cerritos residents, so we want them, when they come in, to have viable options for, again, dining and recreation. So I would say there's a bigger opportunity here. I hear the commission on timing and so forth, so that it can be the next fiscal year. That's totally fine. But again, when we're taking broadly on economic growth, think of what the revenue opportunities are. And if the research that you're talking about, Mr. Chair, is backed up by numbers that maybe some of these businesses can share, at least for estimate purposes, I would venture to guess there are some revenue opportunities out there that could be worth our while. That could more than recoup any expenses that you outlay. Yeah, and people like to come to Cerritos whether they live here or not, so let's give them something, right? So at the appropriate time, obviously, but I think there's a lot of opportunity with these kinds of ideas. So if there's going to be any exploration, I would just ask that let's consider the revenue side of it a little bit more.
If I can, if the commission is interested in economic impact and ROI and those type of things, Mr. Dilkey and his crew over at the CCPA are working on an economic impact study for the impact that the theater has within the town center and the city. And maybe Jeff can expand on that a little bit more, but it might be helpful to have the results of that study back in hand so we can kind of have a real good picture and idea of what the impact is of the theater, and then maybe we can extrapolate a little bit more as to what the impact of an event like this may be in the town center. So Jeff, if you want to add.
Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Carey. Honorable Chair and members of the Commission, yes, we do have, we are currently engaged with an economic impact study for the CCPA. It does include impacts not only directly to the town center, but to the city and the region itself. Most certainly, any level of engagement that CCPA has on any attraction that the city can provide, be it support for an event like this or direct programming in the theater itself, will definitely have influence on that study. Part of that study will also look at not only revenue generated to the city directly, but also job growth factors and business factors in the local community. So there are very important metrics being done in this study. It is actually a study that's designed to be a bit more engaging than the previous study that was done in the year 2000, which was quite a long time ago. This study will provide a little bit more context around the numbers and provide a lot more feedback, including interviews with local businesses, and they have already provided from community development a list of business partners to reach out to throughout the city for this study. So there's interviews going to be starting any day now, and we're looking forward to the results of this study probably within the next 6 months or so.
Thanks. I'd personally be very interested in that. That's kind of up my alley on things but in addition to all of the hard costs and revenues that I'm sure factor into that, I think when you're talking large events, there's a branding component that certainly fits in, and maybe that attracts, again, more businesses to want to come to Cerritos, or folks just to want to interact with the Cerritos, whether they're buying a ticket to a show or not. So I'm sure that would have to factor in somewhere in the economic impact.
Absolutely. If I could, that's a good point that you're making. And if I could, part of the marketing efforts for CCPA are exactly that. It's to provide branding for the city of Cerritos, not just CCPA, which is why every time there's either an in-house presented program that we're promoting, or through any of our promoting partners, say Live Nation, Beacon Entertainment, Nederlander Concerts, any of those larger promoters, the first word that's out on all that marketing is Cerritos, right? So we become effectively a very loud and bright billboard for the city. Certainly, any attraction that you can provide in the city will lend itself to that exact same effort and activity. So it will be interesting to see how that component also provides influence on the metrics in the study.
Thank you. Yeah, look forward to seeing it.
Fantastic. That's why I love this commission. Such great minds. It's fantastic. So let's see if we can try to put a bow on this. Mr. Carey, we are currently in budget season, yes?
Yes, sir. In fact, I had a mid-year budget hearing this morning with the city manager to go over community development budget. So we're in the thick of that, and we'll be moving forward with budget study sessions here with the city council in the next couple months.
And so if, and again, I'm going to kick this over to somebody else, but whatever we just, well, excuse me, whatever we advise, the council will decide. And if they decide to go forward with this project in whatever financial parameters, it would be on the 26-27 budget. It wouldn't be anything from now until June 30th, correct?
Yeah, ultimately, if the commission opts to have us take this forward to the city council, we would work to we would have to do some research. Timing on a staff report would likely be a month, maybe 6 weeks out for us to do our research and due diligence. If the council were to approve any sort of concept, it's probably realistic that we wouldn't get anything done until after the start of the new fiscal year.
Which is what the original plan was to begin with. To piggyback off what Mr. Thelke said and Commissioner Taglay said, we need a budget crisis or not, and point taken with the water. It's obviously there's people going to be hurt. However, we have to get out of this mindset that only Cerritos residents are funding Cerritos, that only Cerritos residents are buying at the Auto Square, only Cerritos residents are going to the CCPA. They're the only ones going to the town center or the mall. We have to attract workers in the area. We have to attract non-residents in the area to come to our city. And in as much as we can have a band, or in as much as we can have an event or an experience that's going to bring those workers to our city, it's going to benefit us. We have to draw that sales tax revenue. And that's really where it is. The old mantra of like, oh, Cerritos pays for itself. No, we don't. And we probably haven't for a couple decades now. If suddenly people didn't buy at our Auto Square and didn't shop at our mall and didn't shop at our town center, we would be in a worse financial position than we are now. So I would kind of like consensus, if we can get it, to give it to the council. They make the big bucks, and then we're just an advisory. Let them decide what they want to do. If they want to fund it in the 26-27 budget, great. If they want to kill it for whatever reason, then that's on the council. But that's would be my suggestion as the chair. Let's push it over to them. Let's let Frank and Mark and Linda and Sophia and Jennifer make that decision. That's not a decision that's up to us. Can I have consensus on that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's non-binding clearly, so,
Yeah.
and I don't see that there's any harm in it. I would just think that the study itself would be of some benefit, so I would
Absolutely.
tend to support it.
I agree.
Mr. Chair, did you ever talk to them? Because once you put on the budget, they deny. They say no. I don't know. It looks good or bad.
Well, again, I think that's the beauty of being an advisory council. It's not a stuff to look good or bad. We're not getting elected or reelected.
So you should make sure that they will say yes.
Well, I can't speak for the entire council, but I know for the one or two I've talked to, anything they can do to bring businesses or people into our businesses in Cerritos, they're for. Now, again, I have no idea what's going to happen in budget season. We have no idea what's going to happen with inflationary pressures 3 months down the line. We have no idea what's going to happen with well C4. But again, that's why the council is the council. And hey, we've got a suggestion for you, and you can run with it. And who knows, if they don't run with it this year, maybe they run with it in 27, 28. Okay, I think the concept of bringing in workers in the area and having them stay here is a good concept. It's up to the council how they want to implement it.
Yeah, I would say if the revenue is there, I think we should do everything possible to make some money.
Yep, I think so too. So
Yeah, and at least frame it that way.
Yeah.
Like these. Well,
That's what we do here. We
let's
frame
put
it
it this
Go
way:
make some money.
if these restaurants and businesses were solely dependent on Cerritos residents for their revenue, then they're not going to stay in business long. Let's face
Right.
it. So I
Yeah.
think as economic development, we should consider all, not just residents. So if this is, again, let the research or data show, but if there are future opportunities in a subsequent fiscal year, why not do some research on that?
Ms. Miranda, do we have to vote on that or what?
Yes, we could do a verbal roll call
Sure.
if there's a motion and a second.
So I'll make the motion to take this idea and push it off to council and let them decide whether they want to go forward with it or do whatever they want to do with it.
A second.
Second motion.
I support you.
Thank you, Ms. Hugh. Thank you, Vice Chair Hugh.
Thank you. I'll take roll call. Commissioner Chang,
Yes, agree.
Commissioner Taglay,
Aye, or approve.
Vice Chair Hu,
Aye.
and Chair Reyes.
Aye.
Great, thank you. The motion passes 4-0.
And the ayes have it. Well done. Thank you, commissioners. Fantastic job tonight. Reports from Section 8A, reports from designated Commission Staff Liaison.
Thank you, Chair Reyes. A quick note in regard to item 5, public comments and suggestions. In advance of tonight's meeting, unredacted hard copies of written correspondence received before the 3 p.m. deadline today have been provided to the commission accordingly. Outside of that, no additional reports. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 8B, reports from Economic Development Commission members. Commissioner Tagle, you want to go first, or should I give it to Commissioner Chang? You're up first.
So I don't have any reports. I just want to get something off my mind. Since the first day that we actually met as a group, right, as a commission, the first day the Chamber of Commerce, Cerritos Chamber of Commerce, came forth and did the presentation, and knowing that we don't fund them, and it's because probably lack of performance, right? That's been in the back of my mind for a long time, and I think us as a Economic Development Commission, right? Anything that we talked about, business growth, business development, retention, tax revenue, that's all in the wheelhouse of the Chamber of Commerce. And we don't have that. I want to, I don't know, again, I don't have any power, but what I want to do is see if we can have some ideas on how to help resurrect that, right? They should go with us hand in hand, really, in our efforts. So anyways, just want to put it in people's minds, Cerritos Chamber of Commerce needs to be revived.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Thank you. Commissioner Tagle.
No reports. Again, I just look forward to more from all of you and staff. Thank you for your reports today. I know there's more coming through with all of the strategic plan number 4 milestones. So if there's any of that at all that can be shared with us as that comes out, more than happy to review and put in my feedback and input. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tagle. Vice Chair Hugh.
Well, so I always say that as a city, we have the world's largest auto mall in our city, and we have town center, we have a Cerritos Mall, and there's no reason we don't, the city of Cerritos don't join this local Chamber of Commerce. So I will suggest the council member to join the Chamber of Commerce, which I think we should do, the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hugh. I've been waiting for this moment for quite a while. Ordinarily, I'd sit here and say, oh, the CCPA did this, CCPA did that. And it was a great December, Jeff. And we've got Jay Leno's coming in a week from Saturday, I think. And Mickey Freeze on Thursday, played with Prince. And British Rock Royalty is always a huge event for us at the theater. But I'm not going to do that tonight. When I used to stand out there and talk to the people on the dais about the acts we were putting into the theater, I would say it's not the theater, it's the acts you put in the theater. You have to cater to people so they want to come. And when they come to the theater, they're just not going to come to the theater. They're going to go to Islands. They're going to go to Wood Ranch. They're going to go to these locations, and we're all going to benefit. As we all know, 1 cent of every dollar, or 1% of all sales tax revenue, goes to our general fund, which again helps. Well, if we grow the general fund, we grow the pie, as I've argued before. Then we can give the chamber, I think it was $80,000 they wanted for their executive director. We can support those nonprofits. There's things we can do, but we need money to do them. And I've argued that ad nauseum for over a decade now, if not 2 decades. Well, I was a little late for our pre-meeting meeting. We get here a little early before the meeting and talk to each other because I was at Islands. And I had a nice conversation with the general manager over there. And I had been, since Jeff took over the theater a couple of years ago, and people were still skeptical because for a decade plus, and rightfully so, back in 2015 or 2010, where it was, people would go, nobody would show up. And if nobody's going to the theater, then nobody's going to the restaurants. And it was just, and so why would Islands believe in us? Why would the Old Fridays believe in us? Well, I just had a meeting with him today, the general manager, and I said, hey, how did December go with, Jane Lynch and Dave Cause and Bill Burr? And he goes, oh, it was amazing. He goes, but you know what? I'm convinced I can't fight it anymore. I said, what? He said, on Friday, Saturday nights when the theater has a show, I'm bringing in more staff. Now, for those of you watching in TV land that don't really understand how significant that is, any business whatever it is, whatever you're selling, your highest costs are your labor costs. So you're not going to bring in additional bodies to work if you're not 95% sure you're going to make 5 times, 10 times for that evening, that shift, that week, what you're going to put out in labor costs. And I talked to him and he said, hey, I said, they've convinced me that we got shorthanded and people were walking out. They were upset their food took too long. And he goes, that's my fault. I had not enough servers on. I didn't have enough cooks on. I should have had 2 bartenders instead of 1. I should have had 3 bartenders instead of 2. And he goes, I'm not making that mistake in 2026. And I sat there and I was like, wow. And I said, so what happened? He goes, well, some guy came to me and he was complaining and he said, hey, why is it taking so long for us to get seated? Why is it taking so long for us to get our food or whatever it was? And I told him, I said, I'm sorry, I'm short-staffed tonight. I didn't hire enough staff. And the customer looked at him and said, like, what do you mean you didn't have enough staff on? Didn't you know there was a concert next door tonight? Thank you. Once again, is exactly my point. When that theater is pumping, which it has for the last 2 years, Jeff, you and your staff and ancillary Cerritos staff, well done. That's exactly what I've been talking about for over a decade. And so now Islands and Wood Ranches, I haven't talked to the Wood Ranch guy yet, but I'm sure I will this week. Exactly what we want. We want people, that theater's an economic driver. And again, it's boots on the ground. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic study when it comes out, talking about the CCPA and how it's growing the economy. But boots on the ground. I mean, again, we've all owned businesses or worked in the private sector. When the boss goes, I don't care what the labor costs are, just get them here because I'm going to make 5, 10 times the money on that shift. That's progress. That means the theater is really, really doing its job, and everybody should take a bow for that one. So, Jeff, keep up the good work. City staff, keep up the great work. My fellow commissioners, keep up the great work. You guys are awesome. I love hearing all your comments every single week, or every single month, excuse me. And I will try to be on time next next meeting. If there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.